Hey everyone, it's Schmuckles. Today we're going to speculate the craziest possible reveals for this 9-year anniversary event that could make Dead by Daylight exciting again. Just to be clear, these are not necessarily what I think is most likely for the anniversary event. I already posted a video speculating all of the reveals that are coming for the anniversary. If you haven't seen that video, you can click on the title above. These are the craziest, wildest, coolest possible things that Behavior could actually announce at the anniversary event. This video is just for fun. While I think most of these are probably unlikely, I think we can expect some really unexpected surprises and really cool things that are not on our radar to be announced at the anniversary event. So I wanted to go over some of the ideas that I had for some of the coolest possible reveals at this anniversary. If you have any ideas for crazy, unlikely surprise reveals that you think Behavior would actually be capable of, let me know in the comment section below. The first one on my list is an announcement that Neve Campbell is going to be joining Dead by Daylight. This would be sort of like a Nick Cage celebrity reveal, and we already have a version of Ghostface in Dead by Daylight that's not through Paramount.
When we try to bring in new licensed content into the game, we try to go for the original. We try to go with what's the most iconic, like we did for Leatherface, like we did for Myers. And so in this case, we went for the Ghostface mask, the Ghostface persona that goes behind.
In fact, I don't think Dead by Daylight's ever worked with Paramount, so Behavior could bring in the next best thing, which is Neve Campbell herself as a licensed paragraph that's going to follow the anniversary. And this could be something that they announce at the anniversary as a surprise reveal. Is it at all plausible? Well, they did talk about this Oni and Ghostface 2v8 event that's coming actually right before the live release of Five Nights at Freddy's. They also talked about a later iteration that's somehow going to fix killer queue times, and it would be funny if what they're talking about here is we're just going to introduce Neve Campbell, have Ghostface as a playable character in the 2v8, and we're pretty sure that's going to fix queue times. Number 2 on my list is a FNAF Part 2 chapter. They just straight up announced to us, okay, this chapter for the anniversary is going to be Springtrap, and Part 2 FNAF is coming directly after this in the next chapter. Part 2 chapter FNAF's going to come in with a new map, and the animatronics are going to be the killers in that chapter. That'd be really crazy. We know they did a Part 2 chapter with Resident Evil. This is well after the release of the first chapter, but I'm pretty sure they know that this chapter is going to be so big. It would be really crazy and surprising if they announced a Part 2 chapter of FNAF is already in the works. Number 3 on my list, this is something I've thought about for a long time, is a story mode for all survivors. Like some sort of short story mode that reveals character, has unexpected plot twists, similar to the casting of Frank Stone or like a single player playthrough. For all, I guess it would be original survivors. Once you would get a survivor to P100, you unlock this playable story. You're rewarded for grinding the game Dead by Daylight with a really cool story mode for whatever character you get to P100. I think the reason this is super far-fetched is because technically this would be free to play, or heck, maybe they can make it like you have to buy it, but you can only buy it once you get someone to P100. It would just take so much time and energy and resource to actually implement something like this, but I think it'd be a cool way to add new content to DBD and deepen the lore of the game. They could even have surprises, mysteries, or unknown elements of every character's lore demonstrated in this story mode that can make people sort of try to speculate a timeline or how all the characters connect, similar to how the characters in the Five Nights at Freddy's are. Why not try to add some depth into Dead by Daylight by bringing in this idea of theories and lore? Number 4 is a crazy new Dead by Daylight game mode that is very different from the asymmetrical version of DBD that we know, that is super similar to the Friday the 13th video game. So this could be a potential 7v1, 8v1 kind of game mode, featuring all of the characters in Dead by Daylight on gigantic maps, with multiple avenues of escaping like the Friday the 13th game, where you can actually exit the map via a boat or a car, or like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game where there's multiple avenues that you can exit, but you have to achieve a very hard objective first. This would be a way of adding in a new cool experience in the world of Dead by Daylight. It would launch a crazy new type of game mode, and most importantly, one of the things that the Friday the 13th game actually captures that DBD does not, is that you can actually interact with the killer in pretty unique ways. Like in the Friday the 13th game, you can actually attack the killer and stun the killer, which other than a couple of gameplay aspects and a couple perks, is very different than the game DBD. So that's actually why it would be classified as a new game mode. Number 5 is Behavior reveals at the anniversary a classic horror skin set. This is a skin set or cosmetic collection reserved for adding legendary skins to original licenses. Any niche horror properties could be added to this cosmetic collection as time goes on. I'm thinking licenses like the Universal Monsters, Jack Torrance, Norman Bates, any niche horror cool property that could be added into this legendary cosmetic collection. That's a means to bring in all the cool licenses that aren't really big enough to be their their own standalone chapters as a legendary skin on an original killer. If they really glamorized and showcased and revealed this cosmetic set at the anniversary, it could show the license holders that they're honoring their properties by adding them to this classic horror set. Because some license holders, like the Terrifier license holders, prefer to have their chapter as a standalone chapter, but if they have a really cool legendary horror cosmetic set, it could maybe convince license holders it'd be pretty cool to have their property in that set, and they could expand and really cover all of the niche horror licenses out there. Number 6 is they reveal a massive licensed map overhaul, where they reorganize the structure of licensed realms and maps, and they give every licensed property their own unique realm offering. The name of this realm offering would be the name of the franchise. They already do this for some franchises. Like for Silent Hill, the name of the realm offering is Silent Hill, but the name of the map is Midwich Elementary School. Anyways, they rebrand all licensed maps so the name of the realm is the name of the franchise, and they announced that their plan is to actually add new maps under the same realm from each franchise. And I'm not talking about like the 5 different Springwood variants. I'm talking about multiple maps from different locations for every single license. Like Behavior announces, we're going to bring in new maps from every license that's in Dead by Daylight. The Haddonfield realm offering would become the Halloween realm offering, and they announced we're going to keep Lampkin Lane under that realm, but we're also going to add in Haddonfield Hospital. I just think there's so much potential from every franchise to add new content. Even the licenses that are in the game, you can think of really cool possible maps that could be brought in for those franchises, and it would be a really cool surprise reveal if they revealed their plan to actually execute this. Number 7 is a really massive Fortnite collaboration, where they bring in a bunch of original characters from Dead by Daylight into Fortnite, and they even have little sections of the Fortnite map that are Dead by Daylight themed. We just saw that Dead by Daylight changed the rarity of the add-ons, items, and offerings in DBD, and of course this is pretty standard throughout many games. I just saw that and I was like, this is pretty similar to like the different rarities that you see in Fortnite, so maybe you could use that to speculate like they're gonna actually have some sort of Fortnite collab. And they sort of switched around all of the rarities in DBD, so Fortnite players are pretty familiar with the interface and what's more valuable versus less valuable. Like I said, a lot of different games have this exact same pretty generic system, but it'd be really cool if they announced a massive Fortnite collaboration as part of a surprise reveal at the 9-year anniversary. Next on the list is the addition of Candyman and Tony Todd likeness into DBD, where they have a surprise section of the anniversary that's used as a memorial to honor Tony Todd and his legacy, where they announced that Candyman is finally coming to Dead by Daylight with a Tony Todd likeness, and they would sort of have a section of the anniversary stream solely dedicated to honoring Tony Todd, his legacy, and pretty much just saying we would love to have Tony Todd in our Museum of Horror forever. And the last thing that I have on my list is a giant FNAF 2v8 game mode, where they introduced the new map, the Security Breach Megaplex. This is a giant Chuck E. Cheese-like venue with a huge main room and a whole bunch of different avenues and places to explore, a bunch of FNAF Easter eggs, and a crazy, chaotic FNAF-themed 2v8 event. You could have Easter eggs from all the FNAF games on this map. You could have all the rooms that you explore in Security Breach on this map. You could even include some of the sewer system that you see at the end of Security Breach. Anyways, this video is just for fun, like I said. I'm not saying that I think that these things are most likely. I just think that these would be the coolest, craziest possible reveals at this 9-year anniversary. Are there any more plausible options for this that you think that I missed? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this. That does it for this video. Goodbye.